You know how in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies, they talk about a canon event? Well, I truly believe fumbling a girl is every man's canon event. Fumbling a girl can be a bad thing, and it can also be a good thing. Now, there's some people out there who are just straight up the LeBrons of fumbling, and some of y'all are born different with something inside you that makes you irresistible to women. Now, you may ask me, am I a fumbler or am I a bagger? Well, that's a bit too cliche because coaches, they just don't play. But some of y'all need help, just like how I did in the 8th grade. So that's why I've come up with a full tutorial on the 3 things I think that'll make you fumble girls. Now, you might be asking, why do a tutorial on how to fumble girls when I could do one on how to get girls? Well, the sad truth is, I've never had one. But I compiled some of the funniest fumbles my friend group has and some of the funniest ones I've heard online today. And I'm going to expose why they went wrong and give you the best advice I possibly can as a 6.5 nonchalant redhead feminist who donates actively to the period purse. For those who don't know, period purse is a donation centered to help women with period cramps. And I like cats. I don't know, I just do. But anyways, let's go on to story number 1. So this story is by Good Day My Fine Fellow, but that's a long name, so I'm gonna just call him Jamal. So this is Jamal's senior year of college, and his Jamal's dad comes to bring him home for Easter or something. And they stopped at a restaurant on the way back, and he had a really cute waitress. She wasn't like obviously flirting with him or anything, and she was definitely spending a good amount of time talking to him and being very nice and just sort of polite towards his dad. The check then comes and she hands the bill straight towards Jamal. Very obviously wanted Jamal to take it. He then did and passed it to his dad. His dad finally opened the check and said, "Oh, look at that," and shows Jamal the letter she wrote for Jamal. Now, what made this story a fumble is that Jamal genuinely thought that the letter was intended for his dad, and that's why he left his dad keep it. Now, some of y'all may be thinking it was the girl's fault or it was the dude's fault for not catching on. But the real truth is she wasn't specific enough. Now, hold on, let me finish. What I mean by specific enough and how this ties on into the whole video is this is lesson number 1 on how to fumble women. If you want to fumble women, don't be specific. Now, imagine this. You see 2 fine shawties standing outside of Applebee's. I don't know why Applebee's, but let's just say it. Now, imagine this. You walk up to them and you like the girl on the right, but you're staring directly at the girl on the left. So then you ask for the girl on the right's number, but you're looking at the one on the left. Now, obviously, you're gonna get the girl on the left's number because you're asking the girl on the left because you're staring at them. This is why you gotta be specific enough. Now, this may not make sense to a lot of y'all, but it takes time and energy to fully understand this because what I'm saying makes sense and I'm just not explaining it right. Alright, but moving on, story number 2. This one I got real experience in and I got game in the mud with this one. So this one's from one of my friends. This happened like a way back in high school, and during this cases we basically had a Japan exchange student. As you know, here in Canada we get Japan exchange students sometimes, and they usually stay to 2 to 3 months. Now there's this one girl, she transferred over from Japan and she's in our math class and she's even on the track team. Now, a little bit of past evidence, me and my friend, we'll call him Tyrone, are on the track team and she joins it too. Now, my friend Tyrone, he has the smart idea to like this girl, meaning he wants to get to know her, you know, maybe make some few kids. Yo, what am I saying? But anyways, he approaches this girl during one of the track meets to get to know her better. Now, at this point, we already had her in our math class. We know her name and we know a little about her, but he wants to move on, hopefully get to, you know, starter base, maybe the bench. Now he goes up to her with all the courage in his pants. I don't know how this man managed to say that, but he goes, "Hi, Hina-chan." Now I can't express how disappointed I was in this man, but it was even funnier how disappointed he is to himself now. Anytime I bring this conversation up of how he called a girl Chan, it makes him shiver and cringe. Now, although the story is stupid, there is still a lesson we can all learn from this, and that's be stupid. Now, what I mean by this is don't have any sense in your head if you want to fumble women, because that is the perfect thing you need. What I mean by this is say the cringiest amount of jokes. think without thinking, bro. I know, think without thinking doesn't sound like I'm thinking, but that's the perfect attitude to have if you want to fumble women. Just don't think, man, and don't think about the photosynthesis and all that. But moving on onto the final way on how to fumble women. Now, sadly, the Reddit user who posted this story deleted his account, probably because he was too embarrassed. But basically, we're just gonna call him Bob, and I'm gonna tell y'all the story. I had a huge crush on this girl named Haley in high school. She was obviously beautiful, and she never put too much into the way she looked, which I liked. On the last day of 11th grade, I was walking to my usual route when I noticed her standing in the hallway. She looked amazing. She was wearing a nice dress, had her hair done, and I thought that was weird. She then said hi using my name, which is also weird, and my heart skipped a beat. I said hi and kept walking nervously past her. She then started walking up behind me close enough for me to feel her right behind me, and I got nervous. I thought I was in her way, so I sped up and she started walking faster too. So then I started walking even faster, and we did it until I was basically speed walking with her behind me. I frequently turned left and right, but then made an escape to the bathroom last second just to get out of her way. Days have passed and we finished our last year not talking much. I still had a big crush on her, and that summer she wrote me on Facebook. Pause, this man's on keys on Facebook. Anyways, she told me that she always had the biggest crush on me, but she was too shy to say anything. My mind instantly went back to that moment where I basically ran away from her as she tried to talk to me. Now, this story is sad, as it happens to almost every man in this generation. Not everyone, but a good few of the people. This can be seen on Reddit as the r/fumbles where I found this from. There are over thousands of stories that are just the same Bob scenario where Bob is doing the same thing and not taking the hints. And that's exactly lesson number 3 on how to fumble women. Don't read the playbook. Now, what I mean by this is don't read the playbook. Don't see what's going on and don't think about it too much, because if you do all those things, you're gonna fumble, bro. And that's step number 3. And you might be thinking, this is a whole bunch of holy yap sesh, bro. Who does Blood think he is? Buddy is not Duke Dennis. But I'm gonna be honest, some of y'all be caught doing these things in high school too. Some of y'all be doing this every day, and some of y'all are about to do it. So I'm just here to tell you how to do it better, bro. Or if you want, you can reverse the script, and instead of how to fumble women, you can turn these ideas and make sure that you don't do them so you don't fumble. And bro, it's only when a mosquito lands on your balls that you realize violence isn't the answer. But anyways, that's the end of the video of basically the 3 things I think will get you no girls, will make you basically fumble every single time. So you guys can try these out if you want. I don't know why you would, but hey, I'm just saying, if you want to fumble, here are 3 steps I do. And basically that's the whole video. So I appreciate y'all for staying tuned and watching to the end. Leave me a comment if you think this was a whole bunch of yip yatter. And yeah, peace.